grade class, and we will be learning about adaptions and evolution and extinction today. Alright, so let's get this started, 7th graders. Something I really need you to know before we even get into the lesson is I have to do my job. My job is to teach you. Your job is to learn. So my job is, by the end of this lesson, I am not doing my job if you do not understand, 1, environmental factors are causes of evolution and diversity of organisms, and 2, extinction of a species occurs when the environment changes and the adaptive characteristics, we'll learn about that, of a species are insufficient for its survival. So let's throw this out there. What is an adaptive characteristic? Estelle?
Is that like the huge ears on those desert foxes?
Yes, desert foxes have huge ears, so they can hear long distances. What else?
Or like those moths that are able to camouflage into the bark of trees to avoid being preyed upon?
That's fantastic. They don't have a whole lot of armor, those moths, but you know what? They can't be seen. So who needs armor when you can't be seen anyways? So let's segue this into a game we're going to play today called Survivor, the Adaption game. Has anybody here ever played Spore? The video game Spore? Jennifer, tell me about Spore. What do you know about it?
I remember that I played it with a friend once and on his computer, and I was this crazy little character, and I walked around in this world, and I would change depending on the environment, and I would kind of fight for survival, and I had tools that helped me do that, and as I grew, I could change, and I could battle other organisms within this environment. It was a long time ago, but I remember it had something to do with natural selection.
Exactly. Natural selection. You were pulling out that key vocabulary today. So, what's going to happen is we're not going to have natural selection, but you're going to have the opportunity to build your little character. You're going to have a creature that you start with, and the environment is going to change. And when that environment changes, you're going to decide what's going to be the best move. Am I going to need more feet? Am I going to need a longer tongue? You don't know. So we're going to find that out. So let's see how this game is going to show us about environmental factors and how they factor into what adaptions we need to survive. Or in some cases, you just might go extinct. Extinct. I'll get it out there. Alrighty, so here's your worksheet. I would like you to read the very top and tell me what you see up there. If anybody would like to raise their hand as soon as I have these passed out, what do you read at the top? Since there are no basic instructions on here, I will give you the instructions as we go along. Naomi, what do you see?
It says Survivor, the Adaption game, and then check which creature you chose.
You're going to choose a basic creature. I have some numbers for you to choose from. Now, if this were a larger class, I would have a hat with more numbers. But there's a couple of numbers in here, so let's open up and see what basic creature you're going to start with.
Oh, you don't get to pick?
You do not get to pick.
Oh.
That's the fun thing. When you're born, do you get to pick who you are?
I wish.
You wish. I know. I wish I could have been born in Thousand Oaks with a nice, 2-story house and a giant pool and jacuzzi in the back. But we don't all get dealt those cards, so...
Cool.
Oh, did you get the one you wanted?
Yeah.
Alright. So, with your pencils, go ahead and check mark which one you started with. So what kind of creatures do we think we have here? What environments do you think they're going to live in? Now, I saw Naomi stand first.
Water.
Yours going to live in water? Okay. What else do we have?
I think mine is going to live either in a desert environment or something where it has to fly, an environment where it has to fly.
Something where it has to fly. Jennifer.
I think that I might have to live in an environment where I need to be able to protect myself.
And why do you think that? Why would you need to protect yourself?
Because, can I say what I have?
Yeah, you can say what you have.
Because it says I have rough skin, and if I have rough skin, that might mean because something wants to hurt me, and the rough skin can help protect me from getting hurt.
That's a great way of thinking about it. Great inferences. Estelle, did you want to add?
Well, my creature has hooves, so it can probably run fast and kick things.
Okay. That's an interesting assessment. So let me tell you that you are going to start in the California North Coast. So hopefully everybody here has seen the California North Coast. Alright. So what are some characteristics of the North Coast? What do you see in this environment? Naomi.
Lots of fog and rain.
Fog and rain. That's easy. Okay. environment. That's a great thing to bring up because we don't just have forests here, we have the beach too. Anything else that you can think of that would be helpful for your creature to know where it's going to live in the environment? Maybe not? Well, you all have a good picture in your head of what the coast has, what kind of foliage we have, what kind of animals you see. So your very first question, after we give you this setting, I want you to talk about where in this setting do you reside. Are you somewhere up in the top with the fog and rain? Are you somewhere amongst the tall trees? Are you somewhere on the beach? I would like you to take a moment and write in, where do you think your creature, based on the 3 attributes that you started with, how you breathe, what your outer layer is like, and how you walk, your mobility. Where do you think you're going to live? When you're done, go ahead and put your pencils down so I know I can move on. Alright, now that you have decided where you reside, you get to pick an extra adaption. Let's look at adaption 1. Choose one of the following mouths to add onto your creature. Would it be most useful for you to have a beak? Would you survive better if you had flat grinding teeth? Do you think that you would survive and gain more calories if you had sharp pointed teeth? Please check one of those and then answer question 2. Why do you think this is the best mouth for your creature that you started with? And again, set your pencils down when you're done. Are you ready for the first environmental change? The first environmental change is storms get bigger! Big storms! We have big storms! The hot gets hotter. Imagine your creature. Is your creature going to be hot? Are they going to survive in the heat? Are they going to survive in those big stormy rains? That temperature is rising. The dry seasons are longer. And when the storms come, you expect those monsoons, those heavy, hot, thunderous storms. Now that we have this big environmental change, how many of you here think that your animal might have some difficulty in this new environment? Almost everyone. All right, that's fair.
How bad are the droughts? Is it like plants all die, or is there just not a lot of water?
Let's think that summer, instead of lasting for 1 season, what we expect of summer to be dry, let's expect that to be 2 seasons. That's half of a year.
Okay.
Does that make a difference?
I think it'll still be okay.
Still be okay? All right, that's a fair judgment. But for those of you who are a little shaken up, I'm going to allow you a second adaption. I would like you to choose some extra outerwear for your creature to help them survive. You can choose poison spines. You can choose bright colored feathers, or you can choose nice, tough, hard scales. What do you think is going to help your creature survive the best in this environment? Does anybody think their adaptation will really help their creature in this environment, or do you think any of these options will help you at all? Jennifer?
I do.
You think yours will help?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you want to tell us what you chose, or do you want to wait till the end?
I'll tell you what I chose.
Okay.
I chose creature 2, which is lungs, rough skin, and hooves, and I said that it had flat, grinding teeth.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of thought that hard scales would be a good extra adaptation to add to this creature, because I started thinking about turtles. And turtles swim in the water, and they have hard, scaly shells and rough skin. And I thought, well, water turtles have hard, scaly shells and rough monsoon-y rains and wetness, maybe my creature would do okay.
Very creative.
Yeah.
Very creative, Estelle.
I said scales because I thought stuff might want to eat my creature. That would make it hard.
Okay. Okay, do you think your creature is kind of like soft and squishy right now?
Well, it says
Or easy
rough
to get?
skin.
Okay.
But and it has hooves, so it can kick stuff.
Okay.
But it is a plant eater. They can eat.
Need some protection. Alright. Did everybody get a chance to put that down for number 3? Okay, here's the last environmental change. You don't get any more adaptions from here on out. This is the last straw. This is what's going to determine if you live, if you die, or if you just sort of slump around with a life that might not be worth it. And you're going to make that decision. Are you ready for the last environmental change? Alright. It dries up. The heat intensifies. We have very little fog and rain. And you know what the redwoods need? The redwoods need fog to survive. So we don't have redwoods anymore. We don't have those tall trees. We just have shrubs and bushes and maybe some oaks. So what do we have left? I'm going to put the oaks and the shrubs up here. What do we have left to work with your creature? Let's check out number 4. I want you to take a minute and write, does your creature survive or die off? Does your creature become extinct? If you finish writing, I invite you to turn your paper over and draw what you think your creature looks like in your head with all of your adaptions. How'd your creature come out? Oh.
I said that my creature survived because it originally was on the beach, and the beach wasn't one of the things you erased.
Nope, the beach did not get erased, so you stayed.
I'm okay.
All right.
I'm going to draw my creature.
I'm curious to see how yours is going to end up drawing. Can't wait to see all of these. So let's check back to our goals that we started with. Let's see if I did my job. We first wanted to talk about environmental factors causing evolution and diversity in organisms. Do you feel like you adapted your creature based on environmental factors and environmental change? Yeah, Estelle?
Mine, I made my adaptions because I thought of stuff eating my creature, but those weren't environmental changes.
Okay.
So
it's great that you bring up that there are other factors, but can you agree that environmental factors can affect the diversity of organisms?
yeah.
Yeah, because we had some that lived on the beach, we had some that lived in the trees, and those are environmental factors. And that changed the organisms. And our second goal was to look at the extinction of species occurring when the environment changes, and the adaptive characteristics of a species just aren't good for survival anymore. Did any of you experience that, where your species died off because your adaptions just weren't worth it in the end? Erin?
Mine did, because I had wings, and since the trees went away, the big redwood trees, I didn't survive as well, because I just had the oaks and the shrubs sitting out instead of the tall trees.
All right, fantastic. I can't wait to see your creatures at the end, and thanks for being a great class.